Good afternoon, judges. We are Group D. My name is Edmund Gazuzi, and this is Straight in the Cricket E. Today we're going to be looking at a case which you guys are all too familiar with, ENRON. With ENRON fall, 20,000 employees lost their jobs and medical insurance. In 2001, employees lost over 1.2 billion worth of pension funds. Retired employees lost over 2 billion worth in pension funds. During this time, top executives were paid over 55 million in bonuses. Top executives at ENRON got paid out with more than 116 million worth of stocks. Now they say money is power. They say money makes the world go round. They say money is the root of all evil. They say if you throw enough money at a problem, the problem will sort itself out. And they say that money can buy a result. Kenley was born the son of a Baptist minister. Growing up in the house of a Baptist minister, he was subject to ethical and Christian morals. Throughout his childhood, he was taught an ethical way of thinking and doing things. Now, being brought up in such a household, money is not the sole purpose of doing business. Servicing others' needs is. Now, in Sesotho, we have a saying that Kwana Kisiriti Sa Lelapalapo, which means that the child is a reflection of his own home. One would expect that Kenneth Lay would have been a good reflection of his upbringing and his home. However, this was not the case in the ENRON saga. Let's see how it played out. Ladies?
Working at ENRON was demanding, hardcore, hectic, intoxicating. It was like being on steroids every day. If you made your goals, you could double your salary, which was the awesome part of working there, as I was doubling my salary every month. If I'm going to my boss's office to talk about compensation, and I had to step on some guy's throat, and that doubles my salary, then I will stomp on that guy's throat. I would do whatever it takes to ensure that I'm the one that's getting paid. I did what I had to do, at the end of the day, I was getting paid, and sometimes it meant doing things that I didn't understand. Everyone was in a hurry to close deals because right after a deal is closed, you know that you're getting paid. The fat bonuses motivated us, and this affected our working environment as employees because it resulted in an unhealthy competition between us. We would rather stab each other in the back than help one another. The committee gave ratings from 1 to 5%, the 1% being the highest and the 5% being the lowest. If you were in the highest, it meant that you will get a good sum of the bonus. But if you were in the lowest, it meant that you're not good enough and you had to pack your things. I remember when the state of California had a shortage of electricity supply, and we took power offline to create an artificial shortage, and at that time demand was high and we were able to sell power at premium prices. All of this happened over 10 years ago, and things are totally different now in a sense that employees steal from companies, whereas back then employers stole and benefited from our money. For instance, I once saw on the internet over a year ago when SASSA employees went as far as stealing social grant machines and used them to create an artificial fraudulent cards in their own homes and sold them to the public.
Interesting to see that if you put a good apple in a bad barrel, it too seems to turn bad.
We've been working hard on this and we really pulled out all the stops. Look what we got. Origination. We did 20 million last year. I think we can do $120 million this year. Trading. We did 10 million last year. We think we can do 64 this year. This is the key. We're going to move from mark-to-market accounting to something I call HFV, hypothetical future value accounting.
Whoa.
If we do that, we can add $1 gazillion to the bottom line.
Oh, Jeff. All right, that sounds fantastic. Oh, Jeff, thank you. That's just the encouraging part of it.
Jeff, the ideas man. His first big idea was that of mark-to-market, which allowed Enron to book potential future profits on the day the deal was signed. No matter how little cash eventually came in, which implied that Enron's profit was whatever Enron said it was.
Yeah, mark-to-market accounting mixed with SP made Enron look financially profitable. It lacked transparency and was a system of smoke and mirrors.
Noinki, and the shocking part is that the regulatory bodies at the Anderson, banks, accountants, lawyers, and other professionals who know better should have known better and said no and dropped this process moving forward.
I actually agree with you. If these systems was implemented, was unlawfully, risky, and unethical, they could have stood by their process and procedures and defend themselves. However, they shredded millions sheets of documents which could have used against them.
And this was bad business ethics because it does not fit with the organizational standard of conduct, internal and external relations.
Everyone knew this approach was unethical, even illegal. However, no one followed the slogan of Enron
and asked why. Noinki, the results of Enron's failure was the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, which became law on 30 July 2002. Its aim was to prevent and deter future accounting fraud, protecting shareholders and increasing confidence in public company financial reporting,
and led to a greater internal control of financial reports and the increased expertise and independence among more focused boards, committees, and directors. It imposed new reporting and disclosure requirements, and including the whistleblower structure.
We now have someone in the studio with us who actually stood up against the norms within the company. Over to you, Titsetso.
Thank you, Ed. Hi, welcome to Straightening a Cricket Show. Today we are having a guest from ENRON company. She's one of the employees who came out to talk about the banning issue that has been going on and on in that company, which I believe all of you know about it as much as I also do. It is so unfortunate because corruption is there. It is done by top to low management. But we see whistleblowing, which could be used as a tool to overcome this era, be limited each and every day. Anyway, I'd love to welcome my guest of today. Welcome.
Thank you.
Would you introduce yourself to my audience?
Hi everyone, I'm Sharon Watkins, the ex-Vice President of ENRON Corporation.
Sharon, we've seen this ENRON issue on TVs, magazines, and all sorts of publicity that one can think of. So you as an employee of ENRON, how did you discover all these fraudulent activities in such a big company like it?
I discovered what was going on within ENRON when I was asked to take charge of one particular account. And I realized that a lot of numbers are not adding up, and I knew that something was wrong. And at that time, I immediately warned Kenley, who was the CEO, about my findings.
Tell me on this one. We see these big guys and some of the employees saying, when you're in Rome, do as Romans do. So you, as one of the employees, what is your take on that one?
You know, Tisetso, if you're in Rome and the Romans are doing what is right and just, then by all means go ahead and follow suit. But if not, I believe that everyone has the moral right to stand by their own moral views and do what is ethically right.
That's quite interesting to have somebody like you in the studio today. So tell me, why is it that you're only coming out now? Does it mean before you were part of this, so now you want to come out clean? And what is it that you're going to benefit from the company, or already what is it that you have benefited?
Absolutely not. I was not a part of this from the beginning. I thought my revelations would make a difference, but they didn't, because I later discovered that Kenley tried to get me fired after I disclosed my findings to him. You see, growing up in a small town, you have this optimistic sense that your actions matter. So I was 100% sure that Kenley would look into my concerns and realize that we have a serious crisis on our hands, but he didn't. Instead, he did a whitewash investigation and ignored it. I would say the most thing that I benefited from this would be that I have been freed from these fraudulent activities, and I helped others in the process as well.
Sharon, my dear, you seem to be a good woman.
Thank you.
And at the same time, truthful woman. I must say being truthful is a virtue that I know not just anybody can acquire. So tell me, how does your future look like, or how is everything going on now with you?
I've actually gotten a lot of job offers from different organizations and institutes to educate people about ethical behavior and whistleblowing. I've traveled across the world meeting young people and new people and educating young upcoming professionals about ethical behavior.
Let me quickly get back to my audience. Is there anybody of you who would love to ask Sharon a question or make some comment? Yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. Sharon, tell me, how do you think that ENRON managed to keep all this under wraps?
I think the oppressor of the truth, let me put it like this, likes to mask things into complexity and hopes that you get so mind-numbingly bored that you move away from it. So many people within ENRON who tried to speak out against any fraudulent activity were either demoted or ignored. And these were really smart people who had stopped asking questions. They had stopped asking why. And I believe that's how ENRON managed to keep this under wraps for so long.
Clever guys indeed. But they say nothing lasts forever. And same way with corruption.
Absolutely.
Anyway, Sharon, what advice can you give to young people of today and the whole world in general?
I think whistleblowing in our society is not the in thing today. People would rather keep silent or go with the flow than cause an uproar. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. There are whistleblowing hotlines out there for people who would like to report any fraudulent activity anonymously. Just remember, as a whistleblower, you're not expected to prove anything. All you need to do is raise a concern and make sure that your information is substantially true, and let other professionals who deal with these kind of things take care of the rest. All you need to do is speak out.
Thank you, Sharon, for your time.
Thank you.
Coming to my conclusion, what I can say is that employees should not be afraid to whistleblow due to victimization, which is said to be the most negative and significant effect on whistleblowers. They should be like that in a current situation where we had a whistleblower who talked about the mismanagement of the e-tolls of Central in South Africa. I'm saying this because South Africa whistleblowing framework has been rated 3 stars in its adherence to protecting the whistleblowers. So you go out there, make South Africa a better place to stay for current and future generation so that they can know you've been here by your footprints. Thank you to everybody who joined us today. And handing over to you, Ed.
Thank you, Teto. It's great to see that South Africa was awarded the highest prize as 3 stars by the international law firm DLA Piper. This puts us ahead of countries like Germany, France, Hong Kong, and even Australia. It puts us on par with first world countries like the US, the UK, and even China.
If you chase after money, you have an empty life because there's never enough.
Do not let the fear of change stop you from doing what you know is right.
Albert Einstein once said, relativity applied to physics, not ethics.
Ethical behavior is doing the right thing when no one is watching, even when doing the wrong thing is legal.
I will have the moral courage to make my actions consistent with my knowledge of right and wrong. Job 27, verse 5.
Cannot have $1 million dream with a minimum wage work ethic. Thank you.
Thank you.